Welcome to Higgins Keto Blog, day 12, right?
I think so.
Yeah, we're day 12. We had a lot of fun today. We've been laughing, joking, and being stressed out. But we had some good things happen today. I made pancakes,
Yeah.
the keto pancakes this morning for breakfast. They were very good.
Very, very good.
We got our syrups, as I told you, in the mail. So strawberry and blueberry, okay, calorie free. And the funny thing about this is that they're no fat, no carbs, no protein. Kind of makes you wonder what's in it.
I know, right?
But I will say this: they were tasty. They did not have that overpowering alternative sweetener aftertaste that I was expecting. There was a little.
Okay. Here's the truth of the matter. Had I tried these syrups before being this far along in the ketogenic diet, I would have sworn up and down that and it pretty much is, diabetic syrup. So for anyone who has accidentally picked up sugar-free syrup, it kind of tastes like that.
But I did not taste...
But with a flavoring. Well,
I did not taste the medicine-y aftertaste.
Well, I think it's because our taste buds have changed.
No, because trust me, I can still taste it in stevia.
No, I'm talking about the sweetness, because it's not even the medicinal. I honestly don't taste that medicinal taste, or the baby aspirin taste, really, is what he's talking about. It's that it's sweet. Right. But it's not sickeningly sweet.
Yes, and I like that.
Right.
I prefer real maple syrup over the fake crap. You know, the manufactured syrups, because it's not as sweet as the manufactured syrups. But then again, it's the same way I like my cookies and cakes and things like that too. I don't like them extremely sweet. I would rather have something lightly sweeted than something extremely. But that's just me. I don't like.
That's why he likes my cheesecakes.
That's why I like her.
Wait, I'm sweet. I'm not sickeningly sweet, but I'm still sweet.
Right. Yeah, lightly sweetened. All right. Anyway, but they were good.
Yes.
And the keto pancakes are literally they're dead on 14 grams of fat and 14 grams of protein with 3.5 total carbs.
Yeah, not
net. That's total carbs. And that was for 2 pancakes, which granted they're only this big. Okay. But hey, they were good. We had them with bacon, which is always good.
Nice.
Okay. So we had those. And the thing is, I felt like I was eating a normal breakfast. I didn't feel like I was doing some keto thing. Right. Okay. Because they did have the consistency and the flavor of a regular pancake.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that it had the same consistency, because I cannot eat pancakes that are... I cannot eat regular pancakes.
Okay, are you talking about the box ones or the homemade ones?
Either way, I still cannot eat any type of
the pancakes are made with almond flour and cream cheese and egg.
Very, very tasty.
They're good.
Right.
They are really good.
They're light, they're airy.
Yes.
And I actually was able to eat all of my breakfast.
The nice thing about it, I was really questioning the blender part, because you make it in a blender. And I thought, well, man, are you sure this seemed, to me it seemed like it would be thick in the blender with the ingredients I was putting in, because the only liquids in the whole thing was the egg. Okay? Granted there were 4 eggs. But still, I thought it was going to be thicker. It almost came out, crepe type thin. The batter.
Thin, which is why I was able to eat them, because they weren't dense.
Right, and she has a problem with dense foods.
Right.
So to that aspect, they're really good. And I know we've been talking about this for a while, but we I mean, try them. Seriously, if you're doing keto, try these pancakes. I wouldn't suggest having them every day, but for something 2 to 3 times a week, it adds an extra layer to your possible meals for breakfast, that just so you can change it up and you don't get bored.
Well,
okay.
And then to boot, the kids really enjoyed them.
When kids are enjoying your health food, that says something.
I mean, the leftover cinnamon keto muffins that my
they
husband
became
made.
they became the shortcake for strawberry shortcake for the kids.
So they made a dessert out of it.
Right. They literally took those cinnamon muffins. She has a picture. She took cinnamon muffins. I cut them in half for them. Cut up a bunch of strawberries and put them on top, and then put whipped cream on top of that. And they sat there and they ate it like it was. They ate it like it was, sugar candy.
They loved it.
And they loved it. And it was healthy. Figure that part out. Yeah, that's a picture of them eating them. Okay.
Hopefully that comes out okay. We'll see it.
Well, from what I noticed, they can generally see it better when they're recording than we can here.
Okay.
Anyway, that was really good too. So we discovered something there. Also, I designed a new Excel spreadsheet today. If you're familiar with Excel spreadsheets, there's all sorts of ways you can use them. Well, I have never really sat down lately with an Excel spreadsheet and tried to design to do anything. I actually called someone and actually asked them if they knew of any online tutorials, so I went through some of those today, but really they bored the crap out of me. So what I did was I just got into Excel and started playing around with it, and I figured out how to do everything. So I came up with the calculations and the mathematical equations that you have to insert in the cells and things like that. So now I literally built a Excel spreadsheet tracker that all I do is enter in the food, put in the macros for that food, and it automatically populates the totals for each meal, and then it calculates how many you have left for the day based on our individual macro needs. So I don't have to do the math anymore. All I get to do is type in what the food is, and it automatically does the math for me because I went ahead and just wrote in the calculations right there. See, that's what I like to do. She likes to figure out the calculation part, okay? I just like the numbers. I like a program that I just type in everything, and it does everything for me.
I like the ease of having that happen. I just like to be able to save them, so that I can go back and take a look.
And we are figuring out a way to do that. I designed this for a one-page thing for each day. Okay, so what my aspect is I want to just print them out and put them into a hard copy book that we can go back and look at, from time to time. Not something that's constantly in my computer taking up storage space. So. But that's just me. At
some point in time, I am going to give you cue cards to say, let your wife talk. Because I don't know if anyone has noticed or not, but my husband cuts me off when we're talking. Well, because he likes being the center of attention.
It's not just that. I have all this energy, okay? And I can't help but talk.
Right. So in the meantime, he's trying to cut me off.
I'm not cutting you off when I think you have something good to say.
It's kind of like me earlier when I was trying to do a cartwheel.
Oh, abysmal. Yeah.
I stopped because I didn't want to hurt myself.
Right.
What did my husband tell me? Well, babe, you got to lose a little more weight
before you can do something like that.
Do a cartwheel. He's so mean to me.
Okay, is honesty really mean? I thought the whole point was we're supposed to be accountability partners and hold each other accountable to our honesty,
There's this little thing called TACT, T-A-C-T.
I don't know what that is. I don't even want to go into the whole pants thing. But anyway.
Mr. Higgins, enough.
Anyway, okay. So I did that. And if I get that thing developed enough, because actually I also figured out that I can actually go ahead and program all the foods into a separate new report that already has everything delineated out with equations there. So, and build drop-down boxes based on those other reports, and they'll automatically. So all you got to do is pull the drop-down box, pick the food that we ate, and it'll automatically populate the fields for me. So literally, it'll be click, 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 and everything will be done, and I don't have to type nothing, which I kind of like. So once I get that totally figured out, I will be doing that to it as well, and design an entire thing to where all I have to do is know what I ate and just click. So that to me is a wonderful thing.
Right.
Right.
We'll let him work on that.
Right.
Now protein. Let's talk about protein.
Okay.
So here my husband readjusted my macros.
Right. This is fun.
And I love the fact that he decreased the amount of protein that I needed
now she's
to
eating
eat.
too much.
Now I'm exceeding the allotted amount of protein, and I'm dumbfounded because I'm wondering how in the world that's happened.
It's really funny. I mean, there were days, okay, her protein right now is set at 73, okay? There were days that she was having trouble putting down 50,
Right.
okay? All of a sudden, I get them set down, I redid the thing, set them down to where there's 73 based on the new program we found, and now she gets 93.
I didn't have 90.
It was 20 over. The day before yesterday, it was 20 over. Yesterday, it was, what, 7 over?
And today?
And
Today was 7 over.
Oh, today was 7. So yesterday was the one that was 20 over.
I think so.
Yeah, so she got 93 yesterday and 80 today.
Right. The only thing that I can account for is the exercise, doing exercise daily.
Allowing her to eat more.
Well, because it's causing me to be hungry more.
And she has to have food that satiates that, which is protein.
No, and it's not, it's...
With the eliminate, okay, I will say this, in her defense, okay, the reason why this is allowed to happen, and you guys will find this out too, some of you might have already figured this out, because of the limited amount, the limited items that you can get your carbs from, the majority of your meals, it's hard to make them lower on protein.
Right.
And I think that's the problem we run into. So I'm now sitting here, and tomorrow we actually decide we're going to set aside 2 hours to sit down, and we're going to have to take meal prep to the next level.
Oh, yeah.
So if we have this for breakfast, it limits our choices for lunch and dinner to a certain number of things.
Well, yes, because it's his fault. When he makes the sausage omelet, it blows the protein out of proportion. And because I like to do tuna,
right, it's my fault.
Do 2 packs of tuna.
Yeah. Listen to me, people.
1 pack of tuna has 17 grams of protein. So if I do 2, it's 34. It's his fault.
It's my fault, even though she's the one that asked for the damn omelet in the first place.
Right, it's his fault. How do you... Anyways, it's his fault. He made it. I ate it.
Right.
But he made me eat it.
Right. Spoons made me fat.
Mr. Higgins.
Okay. So, here's another fun fact. Doing activities together.
Word.
You probably don't know where I'm going with this, but we had a discussion today going, baby, you know what? I'd really like to just spend some time with you and do something with you. And she goes, man, that would be great. And I'm sitting here going, and I'm blank. Because the issue is that almost everything that we did...
That is not how the conversation went.
Okay, you tell them how the conversation went.
The conversation went a little like this. Because my poor frazzled husband has been surrounded by children, and he wanted a break. So he indicated that he wanted to go away somewhere where the children weren't. And I said, okay, what would you like to do, baby? The look on his face, because he was sad, I don't know. Everything that we've ever done has involved food.
I mean, literally.
And I laughed.
Everything. I mean, if we went somewhere, we'd go out and get a cup of coffee and a Danish or a donut, or we'd go out and get dessert somewhere. or we would, or we'd make it a late dinner. And trust me, when we had dinners, when they said, "Do you want more bread?" the answer was always yes.
Right.
Okay.
On his part, I couldn't eat it. I couldn't.
Not all the. Sometimes she could. I'm just saying.
Well, if I did, I wouldn't.
And then she wouldn't eat her food, so she had all carb dinner.
Yeah, literally.
But the thing is, everything we've done has always been surrounded by food. Even when we were back in Columbus, Ohio, one of our favorite places to go is the North Market. Which, if you're we mentioned the North Market yesterday. Yeah, food. I mean, everything is surrounded by food. So we're literally having now to rack our brains to try to find things to do that do not involve food, because that does not involve our current diet at this point.
Right. The first time that we actually had gone to the North Market, and I allowed him to pick the food because we were going to share, he ate the lion's share.
I did. I'm not going to lie.
He did.
Okay. We got barbecue, and it wasn't the greatest barbecue in the world.
It was.
Okay. But I was hungry, and it was meat. So there you go. So cute. Yeah, so coming up with new things to do that aren't surrounded by food, that is going to be. Now, honestly, we're now on the Atlantic side of Florida, so there's plenty to do. We just have to figure out what that is.
Right. And I guess we were telling everyone this because when you stop and you think about just sharing things with your loved ones, how often do we surround those activities with food?
Well, what is the kitchen known as? It's known as the gathering room. Okay, that's where families go to communicate and talk and everything. Why? Because it's food. Because people gather around food to do all this stuff. And to change that is kind of odd.
It's a huge mindset.
And it probably doesn't help either that we're brand new to this area. We just moved here. So we don't know anybody. We don't have friends. We don't have...
We're not that pathetic.
I didn't say we were pathetic. We just moved here. Okay, we haven't had time to make friends. The only people we know are the people she works with.
Right.
You know? So, yeah, it's just different. And you're going... If you guys are in the same boat we're in, you're going to have to deal with that at some point.
Right.
That you're going to want to go out, and yet it can't surround food because you've already had your macros for the day.
Right.
So
enjoy life.
Right.
Learn to have a conversation with your loved ones.
Right. Not
constantly on your phone, for example.
Yeah. See this thing right here? This right here has probably destroyed more families.
And, for those of you that go out and eat, a good majority of the restaurants are giving discounts, for example.
Right.
For families who don't even use electronics.
Yeah, there was one great food, by the way. If you're ever in the Clearwater, Indian Rocks Beach area, it's called the Pub. Fantastic food, and it's on the inland waterway. Oh, great food. The Pub. Just remember that.
Right.
Okay.
Awesome food.
Okay. Let's see here.
And then what I also have on here. Because I'm tired still.
Right.
Maybe not as much as I have been here lately.
You had more energy today.
Yeah, so that's kind of coming around. But what I've noticed, I am craving more food. Right. Now, whereas my husband has a major sweet tooth and he craves meat, but he does crave the sweet stuff. I am craving, for example, I told him I wanted a huge sausage dog on a buttery bun that had garlic and then tons of onions and peppers and cheese. I
want the cheesecake. So here's the deal we made. Tomorrow she's going to make the cheesecake. So hopefully tomorrow night we'll be able to show you a piece of said cheesecake.
Right.
All right. I'm going to look up recipes to see if I can come up with a recipe to make a keto bun.
And it has to be substantial because, a good majority of the keto bread, with it being egg-based.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that they're heavier. They're just, you can tell it's made out of egg.
Right.
It has that airy consistency, and when you bite into it, it gives that crunch the way that a really well done omelet gives.
Right.
That's what the keto bread kind of reminds me of. And you have to make sure it does not taste like cornbread.
Trust me, I am well aware of that.
Oh. But so I say all of this because when you're having these cravings, it's not that just being on this keto diet means that we can't have our favorite foods. I mean, we can. We just have
to think around it.
Yeah, we have to find ways to make those favorite foods.
Right. Like tonight, I had originally intended to just make the 4-ounce steaks with broccoli, or actually green beans originally. Mm-hmm. But more I thought about it, the way I was going to cook it, I'm sitting there going, you know what? That's not what I'm really in the mood for. So what I did was I cubed into small cubes the steak, pulled out the broccoli instead, and pulled out some spices and butter and olive oil, and made a steak broccoli stir fry. It
was delicious.
Absolutely wonderful. And it satiated that desire to have something with that much flavor.
That was my serving size.
It was bigger than that.
Okay, that was my serving size.
Yeah, because
but it was enough. I had to add butter.
Right.
To my serving.
she was almost to the end of her protein already. Mm-hmm. But she was way low in fat.
Right.
So
then I was able to have a cup of coffee.
Right.
To which I added butter.
Right.
So it made me a little closer in comparison.
So yeah, I mean, dealing with all of these different things, we're constantly thinking. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say this: if everybody's thinking, well, this seems like a really hard struggle. This seems like it's really hard. It's not that it's hard. It's just that we're now having to think about foods instead of just shoving them in our mouths.
Right.
And it's actually been kind of fun figuring out different ways to make the same foods we already eat, but in a way that's keto friendly.
Right.
And in some of the research, well, I mean, literally, if you have a close relationship with the person that you're doing this with, okay, whether it's your spouse or whether it's someone on Facebook or whatever, like my wife referenced a few times back, we send each other things all day long saying, hey, do you think we could make this? Hey, this sounds great. Would you make it? Because whenever we get a spare 2 minutes, we'll look it up real quick and say, ooh, man, and it pops into our head a meal. Well, I wonder if we can make that keto.
Right.
And so we type it in, and lo and behold, you would be amazed at how many things people have already figured out a keto way to make it.
Absolutely.
So
the constant researching, if you're willing to put forth the effort, there's no reason as to why you should have food cravings.
Right, and you can enjoy your food.
Right.
Don't think that this has to be a stale, okay, I'm having steak today, I'm having chicken tomorrow, I'm having, you know what I'm saying?
Or, eggs and bacon for every breakfast, for example.
Right.
You don't have to do it. That's pretty much what we're saying. So.
And it is a lot of fun to do. Okay, now granted, building that Excel spreadsheet today was not fun. However, I felt a huge sense of accomplishment, and because I did that, I think it was 3 hours worth of work today, I now will save myself hours upon hours of work in the future just by doing that 3 hours of work today. So really I'm really saving time by finding out all this stuff. So in the long run, my dad always talked about future advantage benefit, FAB, future advantage benefit. Do the work now so you don't have to do it later, So, yeah. New food craving.
No.
No,
that's not what it says.
That's not what that says. What does it say? You tell me what it says, babe.
We already talked about
We already talked about that part?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's now food cravings.
Now
food cravings.
Okay. Now you're having, okay.
Right.
I thought that said new. I was wondering what the new one was.
No.
Okay.
Which is why we were talking about, looking at the different
if you were to
recipes.
look at her list, okay,
I wrote it quickly.
okay, there's a line in the middle, so I'm like, okay, is this sippers for this? And she's actually got them. She's actually got the same thing on both the top and the bottom, so that's why it confused me.
It's my list. My list. I can write it any way that I want to. I understand what I put on my list.
When I was in college, my professor told me that everything that you write, you should be able to lay on a table somewhere, and anybody could come along and pick it up. And even if they didn't understand the subject, they would understand what you were trying to say. I'm just saying. But
if it was something substantive that I was,
this is substantial. This is life-changing.
Okay. All right. Anyways.
Anyway.
So, with that being said, I have a bath I need to get to.
And we're going to let you guys know about the cheesecake tomorrow and whether I made those buns.
Right.
So.
And see, I'm representing another Ohio team. Black and orange, baby.
Oh, my Lord.
Da-da-da-da.
All I can say to that is
Cincinnati fan.
Go Pats. All right.
Ever. Who day.
You guys have a great night. And she's going to take a bath. Bye.